What we're seeing is my demographic uncomfortable with their version of white America going away. DEI, BLM, CRT, gay people. Then they want to take away women's rights. Then you want to tell people who they can love, who they can't love, what you can teach in schools. This country has never been great for everybody, unless they look like me. And that's why Make America Great Again is a bunch of crap. Because they really want to make America white again.
Let's be clear about something. Most white people in America, okay, are also suffering economically, right? So if I'm white in a country based on white privilege, what is my claim to fame if I don't have a decent education, don't have a good job? For many white people in this country, their only claim to fame is the fact that I can say I exercise privilege vis-a-vis black people. So America is held together by the fact that the poor white man understands that he still exercises a privilege that the rich black man does not.
Family, whiteness is dying in America. For many years, white people have been banking on the idea of whiteness and privilege, and right now they also are being affected. We are seeing white people struggle economically. We are seeing white people call out each other. Family, this is a sign that whiteness itself is dying. White people are tired with the privileges that comes with whiteness because right now they do not make any sense. We're seeing white folks call out each other. They are noticing the heavy cost of racism. They are noticing that the white supremacist doesn't care about them as white people. Family, we did not see this awakening coming soon. Fam, in this video, you'll notice white people talk about how white supremacy is also affecting them as white folks. So family, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end for you to be able to understand what is going on in America today. So fam, once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. And family, in a special way, I'd want to thank my subscribers for supporting this channel through buying me a coffee. The link is on the description. Thank you. And fam, let's watch these. Once it's end, we'll be back.
Hey y'all, I'm reading a fantastic book right now. This one here, A Dying of Whiteness. It's all about how the politics of racial resentment is killing America's heartland. And it's by Jonathan Metzl. Metzl rhymes with pretzel. I want to give you a brief summary. I know I can never be brief because I always have to interject my political views, but here I go anyway. This book is about how people's way that they vote, that might be race-oriented, are actually voting against their own health. Let me give an example. Let's just say you voted for a president who promised to do mass deportations, to get rid of all the brown people who are taking away your jobs. You voted for that, not hearing that he said he was going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Or maybe you did hear. Maybe you heard him say, I'm going to get rid of Obamacare, and you went, yeah, that's bad, because that was that black president who came up with that. So you vote for the guy who's going to deport the brown people. And then he gets rid of the Affordable Care Act. That was the thing that enabled you to afford health insurance coverage, where you couldn't get denied because of a pre-existing condition like diabetes. But maybe now you can't afford health care, or you're getting denied, or maybe you just can't afford your insulin drugs that the former president helped bring down in price. All because you voted to deport the brown people. Maybe you weren't paying attention when he said he was going to appoint someone to head up Health and Human Services who once had a worm eating his brain, who was a former heroin addict, who believes all vaccines are bad, despite medical and scientific evidence that says vaccines have cured disease for decades and decades. But this guy's come out telling people don't get a measles vaccine, causes autism. So now you send your little kiddo to school, they come home with measles. Maybe they become unalive and, all because you voted to deport the brown people or whatever else you voted for. Finally, last of all, here's a really big deal, Medicaid. I don't know if you're aware, but Medicaid, it's a program that helps give health care coverage to people who would otherwise not be able to afford it. But understand, those people, they're not getting cash in their pocket. That money is reimbursing the hospitals that treat them. So data shows that rural hospitals, in other words, right there in America's heartland, a lot of rural hospitals in a lot of red states, they voted against Medicaid expansion in prior years. So not getting Medicaid coverage, these hospitals in America's heartland, rural hospitals, have had to shut their doors. So hospitals shutting down because people voted to deport the brown people or whatever else you voted for. Anyway, it's a really good book. It's much more interesting than I am, or maybe not. Depends on your perspective. Anyway, you can get this from my showcase right over here, or maybe you just want to go check it out at the library or listen on one of your apps, but it is really, really fascinating.
The only reason that white people in the United States or anywhere we are, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia, in Israel, wherever we are the colonizers. We are the colonizers, and we live off the expense of the assault, Europe's assault on Africa, the kidnapping of African human beings, the trafficking, all of these things that we hear today. This is where it came from. Hundreds of years of assaulting and stealing everything that African people and Africa as a continent had, and putting it into the hands of white people. And so this is why, as the chairman has said, the true class struggle, the true working class in the world is the African and colonized working class, not white people, because all white people, and you know this is true, you and I know this is true by just living our lives and seeing it. All white people sit on the pedestal on the backs of African and indigenous people. And, you know, the statistics are that even poor white people have an easier ability in a crisis to raise $3,000 in an emergency than middle-class African people do. Because we live in social wealth. We live with the wealth surrounding.
White people get really insecure when you say anything about white, right? Like you say, like white people this, they're like, oh, not all white people, but they don't understand that the skin color, the little skin color, that little peachy, whatever your shade is, or lack thereof, that's not what people are talking about. They're talking about whiteness, which is this concept of white supremacy and everything that comes with it that was forged over hundreds of years and really in the 1600s solidified to keep people subjugated, to keep the 1% very, very rich, to make sure that poor white people felt superior so that they could continue to exploit them and they wouldn't band together with black people in order to overthrow the elite ruling class. So like if you're a white person, you get insecure when people say white people this, white people that, and critique, you need to engage your own feelings. Engage your own feelings around that and realize if you're insecure, you got some growing to do. As do I.
Disgusting news. I don't want to hear anyone tell me that this is not a racist America, and that the video that I made previously about this administration, MAGA, Trumpies, Latinos for Trump, white nationalists, Christian nationalists, want an all-white America? Go check out the video that Zoran Mandani posted about the death threats that he's receiving. The hate and the amount of racist, Islamophobic things that are being said to this man are disgusting, are absolutely fucking vile. So the next time you come in my fucking comment section talking about this is not a racist country, go fuck yourself. Go argue with your mother, go argue with anyone. This administration wants to turn this country into a white America. I said what I said. This country is a dictatorship. We should all be in fear. Every one of us that does not fit the narrative of their white America, all of us that our skin is not white like theirs, are at risk in this country at the current moment. Not to fearmonger, but it is reality in the world we live in today. Unfortunately. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Spread this video for awareness, guys. This is disgusting. And we should all be fearing living in this country currently. Let me know what you guys think. Be safe out there, my loves. I love you.
White supremacy is taking over our country. It's happening. There's nothing we can do about it. It's already, I mean, look what's going on in Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? Every bit of what's going on in Los Angeles is word for word in Project 25. The president can say he doesn't know anything about it all he wants to. He is their puppet. And he knows he's the puppet. And sometimes he may not know what's going on. And that's why he says, I'll have to get back to you. But he's definitely the puppet. I heard Steve Miller tell me that. Talk about it, not tell me that. Talk about it. And he's so right. And I've been trying to say this too. He's the distraction for what they're trying to do to America. They're trying to make America white supremacy. That's it. Okay? I just want you all to know. Why do you think we're such great allies with the Ukraine? What do you think is so rampant in the Ukraine? What do you think is so rampant here in America that we just don't talk about it? But it runs the fucking rampant here. We need to start protesting, guys. We need to get together and fight for our rights as people. No matter what color you are, you have to fight for your right to be a person and not sculpted into something that they think is a person. Because white supremacy has their idea of what people are like. If you don't fit that idea, then you have to die. Understand?
What we're seeing is my demographic uncomfortable with their version of white America going away. DEI, BLM, CRT, gay people. Then they want to take away women's rights. Then you want to tell people who they can love, who they can't love, what you can teach in schools. This country has never been great for everybody, unless they look like me. And that's why Make America Great Again is a bunch of crap. Because they really want to make America white again. Part of this country couldn't stomach a black man sitting in the White House instead of picking cotton in their fields. And you see these people, hey Bob, oh yeah, I'm going to owe me the libs today. Oh, it's all rigged, I'm the victim. It's his uneducated base. Primarily in red states. That's why they want to dismantle the Department of Education. They want to keep their white rage fueled, constantly throwing logs on the fire. Somehow they're the victims, right? And then the white Christians will be the victims. And then you pick somebody like the immigrant that committed that horrible crime against Lincoln Riley, right? And you pick out the brown person. And you blame the immigrants, the non-white people. And then you pick on the Muslims, the non-white people. And again, and again, and again. And now you have, was it Ben Shapiro, that white nationalist, saying, oh, I'm just kidding. We should pardon the guy that unalived George Floyd. Yeah, that's not a joke. That's what they want. They want to show and flex their white superiority. Because that's what this country's always been. And the people that are triggered by Black History Month, they're the same ignorant white nationalists, because there's a couple of days every year that doesn't glorify their whiteness, that doesn't put them at the top of the chain, and that makes them uncomfortable. And when you see people make these childish comments on posts, yeah, the libs, George Soros, Hunter Biden, and they have ridiculous memes or things with Joe Biden doing silly things, it's because they're mentally immature. They're children, they're toddlers. They go around and they complain about everything, they whine about everything, they bitch, they moan, they live in a red state, and they say they're against socialism, but yet the blue states supply all of the money to the red states. And they thought during the election that Trump would give them the white America, the nuclear family, with the white cop sitting with the white kid at the white ice cream shop being served by a white ice cream guy. That's what they wanted. That's what Trump promised them. It was never about eggs. They just couldn't stomach a black woman sitting in the Oval Office. They'll say it was her cackle, or I didn't like her policies. What were her policies you don't like? I don't know. I just didn't like them. I didn't like what she said. You didn't like that she was a black woman. And that intimidated you because you're a weak little boy. Because real men aren't intimidated by strong women. You should welcome them. But you keep hiding behind your toxic masculinity. It's a cancer. It means that you're insecure. Because toxic masculinity means that you have to defeat people all the time and you always have to win and you always have to finish first, otherwise you're a loser. Look at the demographic that supports him, right? Big long beards, old crusty white guys, most of them are overweight, tattoos, Second Amendment, they have pet bald eagles, 5,000 American flags, because that's their version of 1787 America, where racist slave owners wrote the Constitution and said that this country is designed to benefit 21-year-old land-owning white men, and that 3/5 of a person is what we're going to consider a black person. That is what this country was founded on. So don't give me the shit that, whoa, all you do was talk about race. That's all the founding fathers did was talk about race. They designed this country around the white race. But you don't want to talk about it. You want to put your head in the sand and be ignorant and blame DEI. And yet you can't name one person that was unqualified to fly an airplane because you're ignorant and you're uneducated. Because all you have is this white rage that Donald Trump has tapped into. Your ignorance, your stupidity, your lack of critical thinking. All you know is that he makes you feel a certain way, and that's all you care about. That's why we're really here, America. Are we ready to finally address it? Are we finally ready to talk about white America? Or do we want to just keep putting our heads in the sand and pretending that we're this great nation that includes everybody? Because I'm not going to pretend like America is great anymore, because it's not. 11% of our country is on welfare, in poverty. 700,000 are homeless. We had 500 mass shootings last year and 600 mass shootings the year before. But what are we doing? We're talking about trans people in bathrooms. We're talking about transgenders in sports. There's 12 in all of college sports out of 500,000 people. Why? Because it makes their uneducated, stupid, MAGA fake Christians angry. It gives them something to justify their white rage and their white grievance. That's why we're here. So, if we're ready to address the real problem with this country, let me know.
Family, whiteness is crumbling. Whiteness is dying, even with the white privilege, with the white supremacy right now going on in America. Everyone is being affected, irrespective of the color of skin. And white people are having this rude awakening. They are noticing that they've been playing the wrong cards. They've been choosing the wrong leaders in the expense of black people. They thought that if they chose leaders like Donald Trump, only black folks would be affected. But right now, family, they are noticing that whiteness is actually dying. There is nothing today like the white privilege. You could have white privilege in general, but at the same time, people are being affected, even if they're white folks. Right now, we are seeing white people cry about the cost of living. We are seeing them cry about the very high cost of rent in America today. We are seeing them crying they do not have jobs. They are crying of support from the government. We are seeing white farmers, from many places in America, rural America, crying and saying they need support, they need financial aid because they are afraid they lose their farms. These are all white people. Did you all see these unprecedented events coming in white America? This is proof to you all that white America is dying. That whiteness is not a thing today in America. They've been enjoying for the longest time. They are now starting to feel the heaviness that black people have been feeling over the years. They're feeling how heavy black people have been struggling in America and finding their ways, to ensure that they get a solution to their problems. They've not been crying and asking for help left, right, and center. Black folks have been thriving even with the problem. We can already tell the resilience of black people in this situation. As we learn, whiteness falling in America, I just want to appreciate black resilience. Black people have fought enough. Black folks couldn't be wherever they are today, if they were any other race. Because black people went through racism for the longest time since their history started in America. Slavery, redlining, mass incarceration, and still they are the black people you see today in America. Black people still have the highest purchasing power in America, even after years, of systemic racism and oppression. That just shows you how resilient black people are. Black people do not lose hope. Right now, the white people are not have started feeling the heaviness. Whiteness is crumbling, Whites are now suffering economically in a country based on white privilege. They're suffering in a country that has always put their interest ahead, a country that is basically about white privilege. They are now calling out themselves, because they're feeling the heaviness Black America has always carried. Black America has carried a lot of heaviness, and these folks are now feeling what it means to be on a side of America that is oppressing you, to be a side of America that does not care about your color. The politics of racial resentment is killing Americans. The fact that they had race in their head when they are going to vote is finishing them today. Family, that idea of having race in politics is just making it so heavy for them today. And I repeat, the politics of racial resentment is killing Americans. How white American votes have always been against their own interest, but for color. They've been supporting white folks. They did not care what attributes these people are bringing to table. They did not care about their merit. Whatever they cared about was color. And that is what is affecting them today. Putting, race in politics, putting race in choosing their leaders. This is the reason as to why whiteness is falling. And this should be a very good news to black folks, because now these people have been enjoying for so many years. Racism has always continued against the black man. They were all quiet. Right now they are calling out each other because they are seeing whiteness falling. They want to start changing their ways. They want to start voting well, in the coming election. They want to start treating black people well because they are now seeing how karma can work. They're seeing the heaviness that it takes to put color ahead of other things. Whiteness is falling, family. Whites were not happy, whites were not happy with Obama and Obamacare. They were actually very happy that Obamacare was being removed, immediately Trump took over, as president, the very thing that enabled many of them to get health and insurance coverage. They did not care about their insurance coverage and health. Obamacare was a nice one for all Americans. Immediately Obama left and Trump became the president, they all were happy that Obamacare has gone because that was a thing for a black man. But family, we're seeing them today struggle with Medicare and Medicaid. Look at the cuts in these sectors. We are seeing Americans struggle with insurance covers. We are seeing them struggle with paying hospital bills. Right now in America, there are so many GoFundMe pages in white America to ensure that these people are able to pay for their medical bills. They did not see this coming. They did not see a time where they could also struggle. They could also lack finances to pay for fees in schools. They were choosing color rather than merit, and that is just giving them a very rude awakening, a very big far from moment. Whiteness is dying, and we are already seeing that in America, even as white people are still continuing to call out each other today. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about whiteness and where it is going, its trajectory in a few months and years. Family, I'd also appreciate if you like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users. Lastly, I'd highly appreciate if you all took your time to subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and guys, your support has been very immense and I do not take it for granted. Thank you very much and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.